Well, it's an absolutely beautiful spring day today and conditions down here on the River Foss are looking absolutely perfect. But there's just one snag. I'm not going to be able to fish here or any other of my favourite rivers for another couple of months. The coarse river season here in England finished a little over 2 weeks ago, and whilst I prepare to turn my attention to some still waters, I can still pace the banks of the river and try and spot some fish, ready for when the rivers open again in June. Even the small increase in temperature we're having has woken up many of the trees and animals, with my best spot being a water vole, really quite close. If, like me, you're still chomping at the bit to get back into river fishing, this is certainly the video for you. Before the close of the river season, I spent a couple of weeks really trying to target as many fish as I could down here. I went for some roach, for some chub, and even, semi-successfully, some pike. So make yourself a cup of tea and pull up a chair and stay tuned for this episode of River Foss Fishing. Today we're back on the banks of the Foss after quite a long time and not filming down here at all. We're back up in Yorkshire and of course we're coming back to our local, the River Foss. So I'm walking up and I forgot how muddy the path gets actually, but it does make a change being ankle deep in mud from being knee deep in water down the Wensum. So it is a bit nice to be back. I'm heading up to a spot where hopefully some fish are congregating behind a snag. The river is very coloured and I'm not that hopeful of a fish today, but we will see what we can pull out as always. So I'm going to go up and get into position and catch up with you in a bit. Well, I'm not even joking, but the float had been in the water less than 30 seconds and we've got a really nice fish on. I'm going to concentrate because I think this is a very special fish. Hopefully we'll get it onto the bank and we can have a look at it. What is going on? Literally the first trot through. Oh. We have a really nice roach in the net. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know they got this big in the Foss. He's kicking, so we're going to get him out for a quick look. Well, I didn't even know the roach in this river went this big. He went 142 on the scales, so an absolute specimen there, and easily the biggest roach I've ever caught from the River Foss here in York. Yeah, another little fish on. Well, slightly smaller, but another very nice roach there. We're going to get this guy slipped straight back with no fuss. So I've had no more fish out of this spot. I'm going to grab the kit quickly and shuffle down the bank a little bit. There's another couple of spots further downstream that I'm going to try, and we'll see if we can get into some more fish. But we're off to an absolutely cracking start already. Ah, damn it. Oh, yes! Come on! That is a big snag. This might be a nettable snag. Yep. Oh, whoopsie. There we go. Get rid of that one from the net. There we go. Swing this guy in. Yep. Not what you want. Not ideal at all. I'm working my way back home now, that's all I've got time for. I'm very happy with those 2 fish that I caught though. 142 is a cracking roach and is just a hair under my personal best, my biggest being 143, so absolutely cracking stuff there. Also, shout out to the guys I met on the bank. One of them said his brother watches the channel and he does kind of as well. So thanks for watching and hopefully stay tuned, we've got lots of more fishing to come. Well, I'm back down on the River Foss today, up at Strensall, and it's always nice when you turn up and you see some fish topping. You know you're 100% in the right area, and a bite could happen very, very quickly after arriving. So I'm just going to sort out my tackle, set my rod up, and then we're going straight in here, trotting a float through on the centre pin, and we'll see if we can get the first fish on very early on. Well, after a quick location change, we've got a fish on and it's coming very easily, so I don't think it's too massive. Yay, in the net. Right, we'll pull this guy up for a quick look. What have we got? Whoa, that's a dace. Hang on, we'll get him unhooked. I think this is a dace. If so, it's a massive dace. Look at that, yeah, it's a dace, enormous. Well, another smaller dace. There we go, one more dace there. Yes, we're in again. Yeah, scooped him up. Well, this is actually one of the better chubs from this stretch and a really nice fish. They've definitely livened up now, it feels like spring is coming. He gave me a really good fight on the centre pin. I'm going to get this guy slipped back now. Well, we're into another good fish. Pulling hard. Whoa. Crazy. Is that a roach? No, another chub, I think. Yeah. Another chub. No, it's unhooked. Handily unhooked already, so we're just going to slip him straight back and then sort the line out that's tangled in the net. So another nice chub who took off like literally a torpedo. I thought he was going to be much larger than this. Feels like a fish about the same size. Maybe a bit smaller, it's coming in a bit easier. Brilliant. Another pristine chub there. Yeah, and again. Oh, is he coming towards me? There we go. Oops. Boom, nice chub, brilliant. Well, let's get this back out and see if we can catch another one. Another good chub. Well, it's been an absolutely great day for chub fishing down here. I've had one a chub for nearly 2 hours now, I think, with well over 15 fish landed. This is probably going to be one of my last ones if we can get him into the net. Well, it's starting to get late and we're losing the light, so I might make this really nice chub one of my last ones. I'll pack up and start to head off down the bank. I've got a little bit of a walk, but I think I'll enjoy it in the twilight. So we'll get this guy slipped back and head off. I've been walking for about 15-20 minutes now to try and get to the middle stretches where I know it's very lightly fished. But unfortunately, with all of the flooding and the rain and everything, a lot of these swims are really silted up and just so slippery. I can't really get access to the water very well. If I hooked a big fish and needed to net it, that is not going to happen. So I'm going to walk back down the way I came and fish some of the nice clear swims that are much easier. So, back the way we came. Yeah, we're out. Excellent, at last. Well, it doesn't look too choppy today, so I'm going to start with a 2-ounce flat lead, gripper lead. That should hopefully hold the bottom. What's that? Yeah, so we're going to use a size 6. I'm going to use a reasonably large bait, not too large though. Right, clip this round. There we go. Get that over. Brill. Perfect. Right. What delicious bait options do we have today? Smelt. Mackerel and a trout. Roach. Lamprey. And then I've got some sprats. Let's go. I'm very frozen. Might have to be a mackerel for now. It's a big mackerel, but hopefully it'll bring us a big pike. Get us into position. Yuck. Need to go a little bit deeper. You can see it's cocked. I just want it to be set nicely. So I need a little bit more than that. Yay, that's it. Boom. Well, I've been in the first spot about 45 minutes now, so I'm going to reel in the rods. We've had no pike from here, obviously, and move a little bit further down and try a different spot. Well, it's really turning into quite a tough day's pike fishing. I've had absolutely nothing in a couple of hours. I've been adjusting the rigs very slightly to try and optimise them, and we're fishing almost just classic float setups now, because I think that offers the most kind of finesse of a float setup anyway. So hopefully we'll stumble across some pike soon, really. Just one fish would be really, really nice. Dead baiting down the River Ouse yesterday was an absolute bust, but it's a new day today. The weather unfortunately is not great and it's raining a little bit, but I'm going to grab my lures and get packed up and head for a quick lunchtime lure session on the River Foss in York. Here we go. Let's just hang in there and get him unhooked. All I've managed is one small pike. Jeez. There it is, tiny. Absolutely munched that lure though, was obviously very hungry. Right, we're going to slip this guy straight back. Well, I'm now back home after that semi-successful lure fishing session, depending on which way you look at it. I caught a pike. Unfortunately, it was very small. In fact, that's probably the smallest pike I've ever caught. However, it will be the last pike of this season, and I'm very much looking forward to next season, getting out and targeting the pike again. Well, the weather is a bit grim. It's windy, it's raining, a little bit cold, but not too bad once you start moving. So we'll see. Conditions are not ideal. There's a lot of colour in the river as well. It's like a horrible watery milk chocolate kind of colour. Not the colour you want, basically. So we're going to get some bread on and just see if we can pick up a fish quickly. Well, after loads of missed bites, we're finally into a fish. The gentlest of bites. Christ, feels like it weighs an absolute ton in the current. Looks like a chub. It is a chub. Nice chub. Oh, a very nice chub. Yeah. Oh, brilliant, absolutely mega. Good chub on here. Well, there it is, a really nice chub. I think he's probably 2, maybe 2.5, definitely not the 3-pounder that I was hoping for from here, but a really nice fish nonetheless. He gave some really nice little plucky bites on the rod tip, and I had to rebait a couple of times before we finally managed to hook into him. So a very sly fish. Right, let's get this guy back. So we had a really nice chub, which was absolutely fantastic and makes coming out worthwhile really. Unfortunately, I had no more bites in the other spot after a half an hour or so, so I've moved down the bank to see if a new spot will produce anything. I think the disturbance of the catching that fish probably killed that swim. In this new spot, I've got a whole bunch of overhanging bushes which look really good, really chubby, and it's a little bit out of the wind here, which is nice as well, particularly for my hands as they were getting very cold. Fish on. It's a chub. Oh, a nice one as well. Whoa. Yeah. Yes, we're into another one. Feels like a better fish. Yep, it's an eel. Oh, dear. Well, eels are a bit of a tough customer. Well, it was all kicking off. I had... Damn, Pike. Well, it was all kicking off there, wasn't it? I had a chub resting in the net, waiting for me to have a look at it. I got the rod baited and back into position, and almost instantly there were some little taps and knocks. Set the hook, and as you saw, we had an eel, which is actually the first eel I've ever caught from the River Foss. I've had them from the ooze and I've had them from the lakes on campus. So yeah, it's always nice to see them, but they're an absolute pain to handle, and of course their conservation status being endangered, so I usually just get them unhooked as quickly as possible and get them back. I think is the best way to deal with them. I also got the chub back. We didn't really get a look at him, but I just thought, I've already got the rod back out and baited, so before anything else comes along, let's just get all the fish back. We'll see if we can get another one on though. Over the last few days the temperature has dropped quite a bit and we've had a lot of rainfall. So the river is up a little bit, it's coloured and it's cold, and I think all of those things are definitely working against me. The chub are not really that interested unless this bait is dropping in front of their nose, then they'll take it. So I think my approach of actually finding the fish is working well. I've probably got 45 minutes more of fishing. I'm going to try one last spot just down the bank because it's all sort of dried up here. No more fish since that eel, in fact that chub and that eel. So I'm going to move down and try for one last fish before it gets dark. Right, well I'm down at the final spot I'm going to fish. I'm going to chuck in a handful or so of liquidised bread and then stick a little bit of cheese paste on the hook and get in there. Really nice overhanging trees and bushes, hopefully a good chub spot.
Something was having a bit of a munch. Let's get it back out.
I've just heard the Minster bells going, so I know it's 6 o'clock now. I've had 2 very finicky, tiny, plucky bites here, and unfortunately missed both of them, which means my opportunity in this swim is probably blown, but you can't really complain with 2 chub and an eel over a few hours fishing. I'm going to fish out this final swim and just see if maybe one of those fish will come back and have a go at this bait.